A finance worker sat down for a routine video call with his company's chief financial officer and a room full of familiar colleagues. Every face was one he knew. Every voice sounded exactly right. By the end of that call, he had agreed to wire out $25 million. And every single person he had spoken to was fake, not impersonators, not actors, AI-generated deepfakes of real people, built to rob a company blind. It is not a warning about the future. It happened, and it may have ended the age of seeing is believing. This is artificial empires, and this is the heist pulled off by machines wearing human faces. Picture it from his side, a call from the top. You do your job, and months later, your name is a case study in how the world quietly changed. The company was Arup, a legendary British engineering firm, the minds behind the Sydney Opera House and Beijing's Bird's Nest Stadium. These are people who build the impossible, trusted on the most complex projects on Earth. Not the kind of company you expect to be fooled by a cartoon. Their buildings define skylines from Sydney to Beijing. Their reputation is precision, and they were robbed by a fantasy. Arup is not a small business with no defenses. It is a global firm with real security, real procedures, and real experts. In January 2024, an employee in Arup's Hong Kong office received an email. It appeared to come from the company's chief financial officer, back in the UK. The message asked him to help carry out a confidential transaction. Quiet, discreet, off the books. And to his credit, the worker was suspicious. A secret transfer, out of nowhere? It had all the marks of a classic phishing scam. The attackers had done their homework. They knew the company, the hierarchy, the names. Who could authorize what? Hong Kong, a global financial hub where big, urgent, confidential money moves are simply part of doing business. In a normal world, that suspicion would have saved him and saved the money. But this was not a normal scam. To calm his doubts, a video conference was arranged, and that is where the trap snapped shut. He joined the call, and there they were, the CFO, several senior colleagues, people he recognized instantly, looking and sounding completely normal. They greeted him, they spoke to him, they walked him through the plan, in the calm, familiar voices of people he trusted. For a few minutes, everything felt routine. He had no reason to doubt it his own eyes and ears. This is the part that breaks your brain. He was talking to a screen full of ghosts, and every instinct told him they were real. Our entire sense of trust is wired around faces and voices. This scam did not hack a computer. It hacked human instinct itself. There was no glitch to catch, no robotic voice, no frozen frame, just colleagues, being colleagues. He was not reckless. He was trusting the single most basic proof a human has ever had, seeing and hearing another person. The fakes did not need to hold up forever, just long enough to plant one instruction from a face he would never think to question. There was just one problem. None of them were real. Every face on that call, except his own, was an AI deepfake. Each one had been built from public videos and recordings of Arup's real executives. Their faces, their voices, their mannerisms, cloned by AI. And the fakes reacted in real time. They responded. They answered questions. They behaved exactly like the living people they imitated. The workers' doubts melted away. Because how do you argue with your own boss, looking you in the eye, on a live video call? The technology did not need to be perfect. It only needed to be good enough for a few minutes to a person who trusted his own eyes. Convinced he was following legitimate orders from his own leadership, he did exactly as he was told. Each transfer felt authorized, blessed from the very top of the company. 15 times, he approved a payment to a stranger, believing every single time that he was serving his own company. Over the following days, he made 15 separate transfers, to 5 different bank accounts. The total, 200 million Hong Kong dollars, about 25.6 million US dollars, gone, wired out of the company and into accounts that scattered the money across borders before anyone knew a crime had even happened. By the time the 15th wire cleared, the thieves had moved a fortune, one convincing lie at a time. The illusion held right up until one ordinary moment. The employee, following up on the secret deal, happened to mention it to Arup's actual headquarters, and the answer froze his blood. There was no secret transaction, no such meeting, no such call. The CFO had never spoken to him. The entire conference, every face, every word, every order, all of it had been a fabrication, and the money was already gone. In the short window it took to confirm the truth, the money had already vanished across borders, nearly impossible to recover. The worker had done nothing careless. He had been hunted by a weapon that did not exist just a few years ago. One phone call to the real headquarters, and the whole beautiful illusion collapsed into a police report. So how does something out of a spy film actually happen to a real, careful company? The ingredients were terrifyingly simple. Public footage of the executives, from interviews, conferences, and company videos, all freely available online. AI tools turned that footage into living, talking puppets, realistic enough to fool a trained professional in real time on a live call. A few years ago, this level of fakery took a Hollywood studio and a fortune. Today, it takes a laptop, some clips, and cheap, widely available software. The same AI that can dub a movie into 40 languages can put words into your CEO's mouth. Live deepfakes, once just a research demo, are now good enough to run a real-time video call and fool an entire room. What used to require a whole team of hackers now needs one person, a target, and a folder of public videos. This is the uncomfortable truth. The tools behind this heist are not buried in some criminal underworld. They are downloadable. Some are free. The same face-swapping technology people use for harmless jokes online is the technology that stole $25 million. The barrier to this crime has collapsed. All it needs is a target with money and a face somewhere online. And almost every executive, every leader, every one of us now has a face somewhere online. Every earnings call, every keynote, every video posted online is free training data for the next attack. And that is why this story matters far beyond one firm and $25 million. For all of human history, seeing was believing. A face, a voice, a live conversation was proof enough. The Arup heist is the moment that proof died. When a face on a screen and a voice in your ear stopped being evidence of anything at all. If a global engineering firm can be fooled this completely, so can a bank, a government, a hospital, or you. Deepfake fraud is already exploding. Fake CEOs ordering transfers, fake kidnappers using a child's cloned voice, fake video calls from the people you love most. And the tools to detect the fakes are always one step behind the tools that create them. Analysts warn that deepfake-enabled fraud is climbing fast, with losses projected to reach into the tens of billions. Every institution built on the words "I saw it with my own eyes" is suddenly standing on sand. We are entering a world where a video is no longer proof, a voice is no longer proof, a face is no longer proof. The only proof left may be a shared secret, a code word, a second channel the machines cannot fake. For now. Soon, a fake video of a president, a general, or a CEO could move markets or spark a panic before anyone can prove it is fake. We built machines that can perfectly imitate any human alive, and we are only beginning to learn what happens when we can no longer trust our own eyes. Arup did everything a company is supposed to do. It had a suspicious employee. It asked for a video call to verify. And it still lost $25 million, precisely because it trusted what it saw. The only defense left is doubt, to verify through another channel, to assume the face on the screen might be a mask made of light. In a world of perfect fakes, trust becomes the most valuable and most fragile thing we own. The Arup heist was not the last of its kind. It was one of the first of very, very many. Doubt used to be rude. Now it may be the only thing keeping your money and your reality safe. This is artificial empires, the stories behind the money, the power, and the machines. If you want to survive the world these machines are building, subscribe. Because the next time your boss calls and asks for a transfer, the only safe assumption is that it might not be them at all. Arup survived the hit. Its reputation, its projects, its people, all intact. But the lesson it paid $25 million to learn belongs to all of us. Anyone can be faked, anytime. The only question left is whether you will believe your own eyes when it finally happens to you.